Click the link in the description to go to AAAA.com, the best place to buy Skull and Bones silver cheap. Use code DTG for 3% off at checkout. Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we are playing Skull and Bones, and I'm finally ready to give my conclusive review for the game. Having played it extensively for well over a month now, I feel I'm qualified and ready to give my opinions on this game, and critique it based on a lot of experience both in gaming in general, and of course with the countless hundreds of hours I have funneled through this game. So let's dive on in and get to it. Imagine setting out on a quest, guided by a map promising untold riches, only to discover it leads to a chest that's not quite as overflowing as you'd hoped. This is the voyage we embark upon with Ubisoft's Skull and Bones, a game that sails into the turbulent waters of the open-world pirate genre with grand ambitions in its sails. After years of development, marked by delays and changes in direction, it has finally docked, inviting players to judge if the long journey was worth it. At its heart, Skull and Bones seeks to recapture the magic of seafaring adventure that many of us have longed for since Assassin's Creed IV Black Flag set the standard. With its promise of open sea exploration, thrilling naval combat, and the life of a pirate, expectations have been as high as the crow's nest. But does it chart a course for success, or is it sailing into a maelstrom of mediocrity? Let's navigate through the game's treacherous waters to find out if this is a treasure trove or a sunken dream. Section 1, A Seafarer's Delight. Diving into the heart of Skull and Bones, it's clear that the game's naval combat is its crowning jewel, delivering thrills that might just rival the feeling of successfully dodging all of your responsibilities on a Friday night. Steering your ship into battle with cannons ready and sails billowing is as exhilarating as finding an unclaimed parking spot at a crowded mall during the holiday season. The game's mechanics here are polished to a sheen that would make even the saltiest sea dogs nod in approval. As you navigate through the vast open waters, Skull and Bones treats players to a visual and auditory spectacle that could make even Davy Jones pause his infernal locker duties to take a peek. The game's depiction of the high seas is nothing short of breathtaking, with sunsets that could sell postcards and stormy weathers so intense they'd give the Weather Channel a run for their money. The clash of steel and thunderous roar of cannon fire during sea battles are so immersive you might just find yourself ducking under your desk for cover. When it comes to customization, Skull and Bones takes the concept of pimp my ride to the seven seas, proving that pirates were indeed the original enthusiasts of this fine art. From selecting the perfect set of sails to equipping your ship with fearsome weapons that would make Blackbeard green with envy, the depth of customization options available allows for a personalized touch to piracy that's as detailed as choosing the right emoji to express plundering in a text message. This aspect of the game ensures that while you may not be able to choose your crew's singing voice, rather unfortunately, sea shanties are not customizable, you can at least guarantee your ship looks good while outrunning your enemies or your responsibilities. Section 2, Adrift in Repetition. Venturing deeper into the heart of Skull and Bones, we find ourselves navigating through familiar and somewhat monotonous waters. It's akin to the feeling of excitement when embarking on a journey, only to realize that you're actually on a carousel that's playing the same sea shanty on repeat. The thrill of setting sail is quickly tempered by a sense of deja vu, as players might find themselves embodying a pirate hamster on an endless wheel, except this wheel isn't steering us toward untold riches, but circling the same tasks over and over. It's like eagerly dodging your chores on a Friday night, only to remember that the laundry won't do itself because you're an adult. The grind for resources and upgrades introduces a level of tedium that could have even the infamous Anne Bonny trading her cutlass for a crochet hook. Skull and Bones at times feels less like a grand adventure across the seven seas and more like a meticulous quest to catalog and collect every seashell on the shore, each promising the potential of eventually fortifying your ship, provided you've gathered enough to please the gods of the crafting table. Section 3, A Ship Without a Crew. Diving into the heart of Skull and Bones, we find a glimmer of storytelling akin to spotting a distant lighthouse on a foggy night. The narrative, while shining bright, is as fleeting as the warmth of a sunbeam on the open seas. It tells tales that beckon with the promise of adventure, but these stories are mere whispers on the wind, ending almost as soon as they begin. It's akin to finding a rare treasure chest only to open it and discover it's nearly empty, leaving you yearning for the rich lore and epic sagas worthy of pirate legend. Once the narrative reaches its harbor, players are cast adrift in a world where the tales of high seas adventures fade into the mist, with no more epic quests on the horizon. Steering towards the aspect of on-foot gameplay, or rather, the lack thereof, Skull and Bones charts a course through uncharted waters, where pirates wield neither cutlass nor pistol on land. This decision leaves players feeling as if they've boarded a vessel without its crew, navigating a world where the clang of swords and the boom of gunpowder are conspicuously absent. It's a pirate game where the most quintessential elements of pirate lore, that being the thrilling duels and gritty combat, are missing entirely, like a ship without its sails. In a genre celebrated for its swashbuckling and treasure hunting, Skull and Bones offers a vision of piracy where the boots never hit the dock, and the only battles are fought from the safety of the helm. This absence transforms the pirate fantasy into a specter of what could have been, a world where the heart of piracy beats faintly, if at all. Section 4, A Voyage of Potential. Amidst the undulating waves of critique, Skull and Bones does harbor untapped potential akin to a sealed bottle of the finest rum, waiting for the right moment to be uncorked and savored. The game's open sea with its sparkling waters and tempestuous storms, alongside the intricate ship customization, hint at the grand adventure that could be. It's as if we've glimpsed the treasure map, but the X marking the spot remains just out of reach, obscured by the fog of current content limitation. There's a beacon of hope on the horizon, suggesting that with a little navigational adjustment, Skull and Bones could find its way to richer waters, much like sailors searching for the lighthouse's beam on a foggy night. Players are on the lookout for signals of future content updates. These updates carry the promise of not just expanding the world, but of infusing it with the much-needed depth and diversity of activities that could elevate the entire experience. Hopes are high for content that could introduce stirring tales of piracy, legendary treasures to unearth, and, dare we say, the much-missed thrill of crossing swords with rivals on a moonlit deck. In this vast ocean of potential, Skull and Bones stands at the helm, facing the choice of which winds to chase. Will it follow the current, remaining adrift in a sea of sameness, or will it set its sights on uncharted territories, steering towards the rich narrative and vibrant world its waters are capable of harboring? Only time will tell, but the course it chooses could very well determine its place in the annals of pirate legend. As we lower the gangplank on our voyage through Skull and Bones, it's clear that setting sail in this game is akin to embarking on a journey with a ship that's as visually striking as it is laden with cannons, only to discover the map is blank, and the treasures marked are but illusions on the horizon. The game, for all its beauty and the allure of its ship-to-ship combat, sails into a vast open sea that feels as empty as a deserted island. With a narrative that shines briefly like a beacon in the night, it promises tales of high seas adventures but delivers only whispers carried away by the wind. The pros of this game, the game's visual splendor and the dynamic stormy seas it presents are a feast for the eyes, offering moments where the world's beauty truly captivates. The ship-to-ship combat is the jewel in the crown, providing thrilling encounters that capture the essence of naval warfare with an exhilarating precision. The narrative, though brief, offers a glimpse into the potential depth of the world, suggesting tales and legends waiting just beneath the surface. As for the cons of the game, despite the open world's premise, it's a vast ocean with too little to explore, leaving players adrift in a sea of repetition and unmet potential. The grind for resources and upgrades quickly becomes the Sisyphean task of the game, overshadowing the initial thrill of adventure with its tedious demands and need to grind pieces of 8. A notable absence of on-foot exploration and combat strips away the depth of the pirate fantasy, leaving a void where the heart of the experience should be. In the grand saga of pirate adventures, Skull and Bones sets its sails high, but finds itself navigating through uncharted waters without a map. The game is undeniably pretty, with ship combat that can set your heart racing and a story that sparks interest but is too fleeting to hold it. Yet it exists in a world devoid of the inspiration that should define such a setting, marred by a grind that weighs down the sails of adventure. My score for this game is a 6.5 out of 10. It's a voyage that, while promising, might need a bit more grog to smooth over the rough seas ahead. In the bustling taverns where tales of the sea are spun, Skull and Bones may not yet be the legend it aspires to be, but with a few more tales in its logbook, who knows what horizons it might yet find. But that's all I've got to say about that. I do not hate the game, nor do I think it's the best game that ever was. I wasn't holding my breath since they announced it over a decade ago, so perhaps my disappointment just isn't as great as yours is. I think this is a typical Ubisoft game offering typical Ubisoft gameplay and a typical Ubisoft experience. Instead of being a creative vision to really give people the pirate experience they want, wanted, the developers made something they hoped could be monetized for many years. But at the end of the day, unless it sees amazingly drastic gameplay changes and a huge focus on high-quality narrative content additions, this game will go the way of so many other failed live service games before it, and it will be dead by mid-year and forgotten by the next. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.